I'm just going to go straight live. Now we're live. So y'all didn't see the intro because I played it and then we just rolled into live. So you get more minutes with us. Go figure.
And I mean, you know, they've seen that intro enough.
I was sitting here like, wow, I don't even see the countdown for the time of what, how much time we have left.
Oh my God. I mean, we just got technical difficulties all across the board this evening because my phone just now started playing the episode and I had my volume all the way up. Got to add that count. Anyway, what's up, Kim? How's it going?
Yeah, where is KD? This is weird not to see him on here already.
Katie, damn it, you're in big trouble. Anyway, welcome to episode 44. That is 44 weeks of pure bliss with your host, MIZZ, Ms. El Paso.
Buenos dias y buenas noches.
And I am your Suitie Steinman from Dresses and Salted Pretzels. And we got a lot of broke-ass mofos in this house.
Oh, yeah. After a couple weeks of vacation?
Oh, yeah. And that is why this week's episode is entitled, If It Ain't Broke. We are broke.
There we go. There's KD.
Big trouble. Big trouble.
All right. Well, what are we drinking tonight? Because we got a lot to talk about.
Well, I am on detox. My liver has been drinking for 16 days straight. So I went into the Wellness Center Restore on West Gray here in Houston, Texas. And I told Allie that I've been drinking for 16 days. And she gave me like a huge look of disdain and judgment. And then she pumped me full of all of these vitamins to detox my liver. So if I was to drink this evening, I don't know, like they'd probably kick me out. They'd probably reverse my membership.
Well, thank goodness that I don't pay for a membership, so I can drink as much as I want, which I am today. I am drinking a nice strawberry margarita. Why? Because I deserve it.
Why are you so fancy on a Tuesday?
Okay, so when I had a roommate years ago, he liked to entertain, and he has a glass for everything. He didn't want them, so he gave them to me. I have a glass for every cocktail you can think of, which is amazing. I just don't use them. I use a regular glass.
Okay. Robert Pena and I are coming over for cocktails then. Can you make us a Manhattan for Miss Manhattan on the chat?
Always and forever I can.
Perfect.
Hey, Brittany. Brittany is on PTO today.
She said, I'll pump you full of vino. I can't. Like, I've got to sober up, man. I've got to sober up.
Well, again, I don't. But it looks like Coach is also sobering up with you. He's drinking green tea and water.
Don't you put water in green tea to make green tea?
I thought the same thing, but I was going to let it go. I was like, I don't know. Maybe he's doing something new, like trying to really hydrate. Not sure. All right. Well, let's go into fact check against the glass. This is the NHL Draft Edition. It's a long story, so I told Elena, hold off on your fact. We're just going to go with mine for today. So, and I have to read it because it's this long. Well, I won't even read it. I'll just say it. So, a real good NHL draft fact is that the St. Louis Blues in 1983 decided in the middle of an ownership debacle to sit out the 1983 NHL draft. And there was a whole bunch of drama that went into it. In the middle of the season, Ralston Purina, who was the owner since like 1977, said that they pretty much wanted to get out the hockey business and start looking into finding a buyer in St. Louis that could step forward and buy them. And nobody wanted to come in. Nobody wanted to buy the team. So then they started talking about sending it over to Canada and giving it over to a small city. And St. Louis went cray-cray. So because they went cray-cray, Ralston Purina was like, you know what? Screw everybody. And because I can't find an owner, we're sitting the 1983 NHL draft. We're just sit it out. So when you sit it out, it means you get no picks. Right. So the next team was picking up some amazing players because they weren't picked before them, especially because St. Louis Blues was not that good at the time. So they had like the number 2 pick, a number 6 pick. So, being 3 and 7 was a good time in 1983. So finally in July of 1983, after the draft, Harry Ornes, the California-based businessman, stepped up and said, "You know what? I'll buy the team. Give it here." Everybody approved it. And then he went on to pretty much buy it for about $5 million. And that's my NHL draft fact.
Which now we've got an FL team going for $4.5 billion. So
yeah, so Rothstein Perina should have kept your team. Could have been worth a lot more.
That is not my team. First of all, you said St. Louis, so I don't know if you noticed, but I immediately went. And then you started talking about the Blues, so then I immediately went. And at least I made that face instead of the pukey face. But and at least it wasn't the St. Louis Cardinals. So
right,
just a little bit better. But I mean, I didn't start like cracking my neck.
Well, and also it was a bad. I mean, this is a sad story for them. This is bad.
And when they did win the Stanley Cup, was that 3 years ago, 4 years ago? I don't know how many times the Blues won the Stanley Cup, but I just remember everybody was extremely excited.
Well, the reason why we did the NHL draft fact is because of Maverick Lamoro. His parents pretty much were at his draft, at the actual draft, and when his name got chosen by the Coyotes, they had this very passionate kiss that was picked up on TV, and it had a lot of tongue, and even the commentators were like, "Whoa!" So that's why I decided NHL draft packs.
That was a good one, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch that because I was in Italy, and so I have basically seen zero sports. But I did watch both of your shows, your show and then SportsLifeTalk show last week. Dresses and Salted Pretzels, SportsLifeTalk South. I had to catch up on, in my spare time in the pool, hanging out. OG, I actually caught live, but I was quite intoxicated because it was like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. And I'm sure that they could tell that from my comments on the show. But, yeah.
Well, did you have a good time though?
I did, except for now I need a vacation. Which is lame. I know that people always say that after they get back from vacation. They're like, I need a vacation from my vacation. Yeah, I am that basic. I need a vacation from my vacation.
Hey, sometimes you have to have that. I get it.
I was maybe not doing spy shit like Katie Damon said. So I'm a little worn out. I need somebody to pop my back. I gotta work it out a little bit.
Well, let me tell you who was working out this past weekend at Wimbledon. Novak. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name. Novak and Elena. Not pronouncing her last name either.
Not
what? No. Elena Rybakina. Rybakina. But anyways, Novak pretty much won the Wimbledon championship after beating Nick. Not pronouncing his last name either. It was his 4th consecutive title, 7 overall. And Elena beat Onis, and I don't know her last name either. Obviously, you can tell I'm not a Wimbledon person unless I see somebody that has been on a Nike commercial. If you're not on a Nike commercial, I don't really watch Wimbledon.
Ping pong. I will tell you, when I watch tennis, every joint in my body immediately starts hurting because I think of those fast stops and just my knee and my ankles breaking. You want to talk about ankles breaking in basketball? There's some major ankles breaking in tennis. So
yes, there is.
Not my sport either.
Let's talk about ankle breaking. And you watched last week when we talked about Notre Dame briefly.
I did, yes. And I had been practicing my best Stephen A. Smith impersonation. And my coworkers were like, don't.
So the big question, Elena,
I was like, I can't do it. They're like, don't do it. But I still want to try, but they're like, don't do it. So I'm not going to do it. But yeah, I got some comments. I got some comments for head coach KT. I got some comments from Mizz Paso.
Okay, wait a second. Here we go.
I just want to give a big shout out to B Jones, my homie. I never knew that we were so tight, like that. So he wants to talk about all the academics and all the great things going on in Notre Dame. So B Jones, this one is for you. And I'm sorry, did you have something to say? I haven't started yet.
I was gonna, for those who weren't watching last week, the question was, are you selling or buying that Notre Dame is thinking about saying yes to going to a football conference, to a NCAA conference, possibly the Big Ten? So that was the question that was proposed last week. And Coach and BJ and myself had a couple of comments, but we said we'd hold off for Elena to tell us if she's buying or selling. So Elena.
Yeah, well, none of you actually even answered that question. You didn't say if you're buying or selling. So I'm just going to start off with some Notre Dame facts, which is Notre Dame has the 4th most national titles out of any school ever. That's 13 titles. That's 5 more than the Ohio State Buckeyes and 10 more than Michigan State, who has not had a championship since 1966. Michigan State and Notre Dame have met 79 times, 47-29 with 1 tie on the wins there. Now, they have met Ohio State, and the only reason I'm bringing in these 2 schools, because obviously Mizz Paso and Brittany are alums of those 2 schools, have met 4 times, and Ohio State does have that record 4-2. But let's talk about some more records and some more facts here. They are number 4 in all-time wins, number 1 in NFL draft picks. They are number 2 in the FBS National Championship. They're number 4 in the first-round NFL draft picks, number 1 in the consensus All-American, number 4 weeks in the APL poll, and number 1 for Heisman Trophy winners. And that is all with a 3.4 GPA for the football team. So yes, you are correct, Ms. El Paso. They are absolutely overrated.
Oh, they really are, especially when you pick your own schedule and who you want to play with. So, when you're stuck in a conference with people that you have it's almost like being a family.
You're stuck in a conference with Illinois.
We're in a conference with Ohio and Michigan.
Yeah.
And soon USC, UCLA.
You're also stuck in a conference with Indiana and Illinois. So
hey, don't get it twisted. That's why we never see Notre Dame in a basketball championship. And you guys are in the ACC when it comes to that. It's interesting that it's your football program that you decide that you're going to pick and choose, but the rest of your sports, you decide.
We are not talking about basketball. We are talking about football. And as Katie Dammit mentioned, everybody picks a part of their schedules.
Yeah, but we pick our schedules according to our conference.
Now, I was reading an article today that was super interesting. And it was, if Notre Dame was to join the Big Ten versus their actual schedule for 2022. Do you want to hear that?
Sure.
Do we have time?
Yeah.
So on September 3rd, Notre Dame plays the Ohio State, which Brittany and I will be in attendance for. If they were in the Big Ten, they would be playing UCLA. On September 10th, they play Marshall. If they were in the Big Ten, they would also be playing Marshall. 17th, they play Cal. If they're in the Big Ten, they would be playing the Purdue Bags. September 24th, they're at North Carolina. If Big Ten, they would be at Indiana. October 1st, off. October 8th would be BYU. October 15th, Stanford. instead of Iowa. October 22nd, UNLV instead of Rutgers. October 29th would be Navy. October 5th, they play Clemson instead of Penn State. 12th, Syracuse instead of Nebraska. And 19th, Boston College instead of the fantastic Northwestern football program. November 26th, the last game would be USC at USC. So for me as a fan, I'm going to take the actual 2022 season over the proposed Big Ten 2022 season 100 times over.
Well, you have a fan, and that's KD. So both of you and KD and BJ.
Exactly, KD.
The mouth of the South.
Better.
And Brittany can all take your Notre Dame and have fun with that. Good luck to the Irish.
All right, I got to put this down. By the way, guys, this is actually normally in my office.
You're going to break it.
Today didn't ring, but I can't. I got to put it down because I will literally play with it all night.
Well, hey, you were breaking ankles today, and it's okay. You're coming back, and like KD said, there are some really salted pretzels.
You can't tee it up for me, though, because then it's like unfair.
All right. Okay. So let's move on to two huge announcements that were said the last 2 weeks. And that was Sandra Morgan Douglas being chosen as the president for the Raiders and Condoleezza Rice being now a part owner of the Broncos. Elena, what are your thoughts?
Oh, my gosh. Great week for women in sports. And I'm so excited for Sandra Douglas. Her resume is out of this world. She's a UNLV grad, speaking of UNLV, and she was Nevada's first African-American city attorney, not to mention chaired the Nevada's Gaming Commission. So she is a badass. Mm-hmm. And, as we know, the CEO, the president is about, it's also the CFO of the team, right? So they have people that are working for them that are setting ticket prices. It's all about the finances. It's about making the team profitable. And you could not pick a better person, in my opinion, to help the Raiders do that. Not to mention, we already had Amy Trask. The Raiders are for the people, man. Salute Raider Nation, Raiders. There, I finally did it. I'm a Bears fan, but I am 100% Raiders number 2. Because of Art Shell, his family, all the things that they have done for diversity for the league, and other teams need to take note.
I agree. I just wish that the Broncos could have waited on Condoleezza's announcement to at least the end of the month. Give us some weeks to relish in this whole huge, this huge announcement with Sandra. But no, they had to go ahead and put it out there. But I have something really interesting. Okay, as many of you may already know, I like to create narratives in my head about things that possibly could be the reason of why people will do something. So when I started doing some research on Condoleezza Rice, I already knew she was a huge football fan, right? Because of her father and,
He was a coach, right?
Yeah, he was a coach, I think, in high school. And then he went on to, to work at a university, and he became a minister and all that great stuff. But what's interesting is obviously she used to live in Denver. That's number one. Number two, she was actually engaged in the late 70s to Rick Upchurch, who is a former Broncos player, a pretty big one at that. And so my narrative in my head is that, and she broke up with him saying that she just didn't think it was going to work out. I wonder if he was cheating and she was like, it's not going to work out. I can't be a housewife like you would probably want me to be. So in my head, the narrative is years later, after he's married with children and everything, she's like, you know what? I'm about to own the Broncos. And now I get to choose if you come back to speak at certain events. I have control of how this whole thing goes down. So Rick Upchurch, you can go ahead and be like, oh, I dated Condoleezza Rice or I was engaged to her. You ain't never had me. Now I have you and the franchise. Like, that's the one up. And that's in my head, though. In my head. That's the narrative.
Salute, Cool Kev. You just missed it, but we are giving a shout out to your new CEO and president.
Yes, we are.
Congratulations, Raider Nation.
All right, let's move really quickly to celebrity gossip.
Katie Davis said, wow, you tripping. You just created your own celebrity gossip narrative.
I did. And it was, there's much more, but we don't have time for it. Celebrity gossip. Kim Glass, who's an Olympic volleyball player, recently got hit by a homeless person in LA downtown this week. Really busted up her eye, but her vision's gonna be fine. But it was a really bad incident, and I really hope she heals well. But just, precaution to everybody to watch your surroundings. It's unfortunate that it was a homeless person because we don't know if that person was on drugs or has mental issues. But like I said, just be aware of your surroundings. But I hope she gets better. Chris Rock is dating Lake Bell. Had to Google who she was because I was like, I don't know who she is. She's an actress and she came out on some shows. You can Google her yourself. They were seen holding hands and guess where, Elena?
Italy?
Troger.
Were they there when we were there?
No, they're there now.
Oh, man.
So they were holding hands, but she has not met the family, so it doesn't count yet. The last one is
she way taller than him?
You
tell from the picture. I think Lake Bell is pretty tall. Maybe.
I can't really tell. It looks like they were the same height. He seemed like the same height as Will Smith when he went up.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I feel
he might be tall.
Okay.
Okay. So the last one is anybody who's a Real Housewife of Salt Lake City. Jen Shaw, who is married to a football coach at that, just pled guilty to money laundering. On the show, the whole last season, she was like, I didn't do it. They're trying to set me up. I didn't do it. And it all came out that, yeah, she did do it. So she owes about $10 million or something like that to all the people that she took money from. So that was really interesting. And that's it. All right, let's bring Eric in.
Shout out to Candace Murray, who is here from Park City, Utah right now at my house.
Hey, oh, yay, Candace. Hola. All right, let's bring in Eric for Raging Wagers. Hey.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Not much. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. No complaints.
I missed you.
I know, dude. You were like on a month sabbatical.
It was like 16 days.
That's like 3 months in my time.
Yeah, it was a long time. But how's the wisdom teeth or whatever?
Unfortunately, something happened. I didn't get them pulled. So
okay.
TBD. I didn't get them pulled. Something happened.
Your face is looking a little thin. So
no, didn't get them pulled. Still on my to-do list. So I will. If I do get them pulled, I'll definitely send you guys a video of being stupid.
By the way, Uncle Rico's in the house.
Oh yes, that is a old school nickname. Old nickname. Old nickname. So I like the Royals tomorrow. Minus 116. They're throwing right-hander Bradley Singer on the mound. Tigers have really struggled this year against righties, batting only 216, second worst in MLB. They have the second fewest RBIs against righties. Singer looked good last 2 starts, only giving up 5 runs last 2 starts, striking out 14. Flip side, Tigers starter Sabol has been awful this last 5 games. ERA of 7.5. Royals actually hit lefties pretty well, middle of the pack. I like the Royals here. I got them at minus 116. And
I'm taking the Royals over the Tigers any day, though.
Yeah, Tigers are goddamn awful. And then I found like an interesting future. Futures are always fun to me because it's like low risk, high reward. And the one I locked in is Clayton Tune, who's the Houston Cougars starting quarterback. 150-1 to win the Heisman Trophy. That means if you could put $25, so a lunch on him to win the Heisman Trophy, you could win $4,000. Last year, he threw for 3,544 yards, 30 TDs, and 10 INTs. Historically, quarterbacks in the Dayton Holmesworth offense have their best year, their last year. He's going to be a fifth-year senior. Then you just look at their schedule. They avoid Cincinnati and UCF in the American. That means they could be in the American Conference Championship. If they win that, they win out, they get a New Year's Day 6 bowl. He will be in New York. And at 150-1, you definitely have a chance, and you can kind of play it out in your head that they could win it. So 150-1, $25, that's a lunch. To win $4,000, you got to take a shot.
I love it.
Absolutely.
And plus, it's an H-Town bet. Thank you for that.
That's why I did it. Houston in the house.
Houston in his house. We're all home now. We're in HTX, baby.
Yes. All right, we got a question. Who would you bet to make the playoffs?
Who would I bet to make the playoffs in college football? That is a long shot. Geez. I would bet
Paso's face. I'm like,
I would.
He's buying or selling Notre Dame.
I would sell Notre Dame. I would immensely sell Notre Dame. I hate Notre Dame. And I have an insanely funny Brian Kelly story. I'd bet Florida. I think Florida would be a long shot to make the playoffs. If I had to bet one right now, I'd probably bet Florida.
Okay, he said that he's actually talking about baseball.
Oh, baseball. Jeez.
Oh, and somebody else said any 3-team parlay for baseball.
No. I mean, the Royals is the only thing I like tomorrow. And that's the only thing I really like for tomorrow, unfortunately. So, in terms of baseball, I mean, I still kind of like the Brewers because they have the best relief staff. I took them at like 20-1 at the beginning of the season. So I still think the Brewers are going to win it this year.
He's a Brewers fan, though, guys. So
I am a Brewers fan. I am wearing it.
You gotta give the background here, Eric, just so they can make true informed decisions.
I may go to a lot of Brewers games during the year. I haven't been to one this year. I may live like an hour away from the stadium, and it's easier for me to get there than Wrigley. So I may go up there a couple times.
Yeah. I've only been to one game this year. That was Yankees Cubs, which oof.
No, the Royals. This Royals game is for tomorrow. So I don't know what time it is tomorrow, but the Royals game I said isn't until tomorrow.
Okay, so you still can get that bet. I love it.
One more question, and then we have to move on. Any future bets for the NFL?
A crazy future bet that I did was 30-1. Damian Harris has the most rushing yards in the NFL.
Ooh.
Belichick historically runs backs into the ground. The offensive line is pretty good. I'm really not a Mac Jones guy. I think they're going to lean on the run game. You look at the defenses, minus Buffalo in that division, they're really bad defending the run. 30-1 definitely has a chance. Or you can play James Cook, who is the running back for the Bills, to be rookie of the year at 14-1. Bills are switching their scheme to a zone scheme. Cook's the only really zone runner. They switched offensive coordinators and quarterback coach. So I think they're going to be running the ball more because they don't want Josh Allen to run the ball at 35% of the time like they did last year.
Okay. For those of you who did not tune in last week to Eric's first podcast that comes out 9 Central, 10 p.m. Eastern time.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
On YouTube, you can go on his IG to get that information, or just go to ET of OFT 21 Sports. But anyways, you drop gems because you get phone calls or you get tips about things that are happening right when they happen. And he did that last week. So do not miss his podcast because it could really help and influence your game. I took notes. My fantasy football league is going to be my team is going to be stellar this week. I mean, it's going to be stellar when I start drafting. So I'm really excited about that. So make sure you tune in. It was a great podcast.
Well, yeah, and we are waiting for that invite as well for the all-female league. So thank you, Eric, for hooking us up with your friend that's running that. We have submitted ourselves as being a part of that. So we'll see if that happens.
Well, you guys better win. So if you don't win, I'm going to be upset.
I'm gonna have you on FaceTime when we're doing our draft. Like, okay, is this good? Is this a good move?
Eric, is there any way that while Elena's going to drop her players anthem, is there any way that you can put that link, the YouTube link in the chat so people can go on there in about an hour or so?
Yeah, I'll do that right
now. Okay.
All right. So my first player's anthem shout out goes to Sandra Douglas Morgan, and that is Bia with There's a Whole Lot of Money, featuring Nicki Minaj. Ladies, go get that money like Sandra. Be like Sandra. And then my second player anthem is in regards to the title for our episode 44, If It Ain't Broke, because we're not only broke asses in this house, but we got a lot of broke ass songs coming out. So Toby dropped to Been Broke, right? Which is fire. And then Mizz El Paso has got another Been Broke song.
Yeah, it's called Never. Yeah, it's called Never Been Broke by Simba. And the beat and lyrics are just amazing.
It wasn't Simba and the Lion King?
And he's also a rapper, but he's
But definitely check out Simba, Toby, with their new drops. Loving the Been Broke. You guys know I'm a huge Toby fan. So is Mizz El Paso. I've seen him twice. Can't wait to see him again this coming year when he goes back on tour. And we've got another big show this weekend. So Live Music HTX and the Foundation Room presents Be Kind Rewind 90s Soundtracks Party at the Bronze Peacock Room at the House of Blues. You can still get your tickets for $10 until Friday when they go up $15 and $15 at the door. So come party with us. We've got a ton of surprises. We've got 2 bands, Live Strangers and the Monicas are playing. And dress up if you want 90s style. So
absolutely. Eric, I don't see that link yet, but KD, Orange Juice
posted it. I don't know why.
Maybe.
I don't know. I think it's because of the link they won't let it be in the comments.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So y'all, if you go to YouTube and just put ETOFT21 Sports,
let me see if I can get it.
It'll go straight to his channel, and then it'll show when he goes live. Just subscribe, and they'll show up when he goes live. The orange juice and ramen, FYI, I bought vodka and ramen to Croatia, and nobody ate it but me. They thought they were too good for that. They thought pizza was better, which it was, but my ramen was only eaten by me. So, Katie, I'm happy that we're kindred spirits.
When I was watching, I was sitting across the counter from you watching you eat your ramen, and I was actually so jealous. I was like, that looks so good.
It was. And I mean, it was too hot to eat ramen in Croatia, but it was fantastic. Okay.
Do you see my link on there? I just put it after What's the Bears anthem this year. I don't know if that one.
No, I think Eric's right. They won't let you put it up there.
All right.
Again, Elena, can they buy tickets for Saturday?
Yes. So you can go to Eventbrite. It's called Be Kind Rewind 90s Soundtracks Party. So not all of the songs are going to be from the 90s, but they will have been on a 90s movie. It's going to be a blast. There's going to be a red carpet. I'm not going to tell you any of the other surprises. But our sponsor is also sponsoring the party, Southern Star Brewery. Shout out to you. Thank you again for giving us all the free beer.
Yes, thank you, Southern Star Brewery, because I cannot wait. All right, take us out, Elena.
All right, make sure you follow Mizz El Paso on Instagram, Dresses and Salted Pretzels, SportsLifeTalk, ETOP21 Sports, and make sure you subscribe to ETOP21 Sports on YouTube, SportsLifeTalk on YouTube. Give us some hours, give us some likes. Make sure you watch tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Central for Sports Life Talk, and check out those Who Got Next, because they got a lot of people they got next. And we got some famous people on there too. Up and coming athletes, ESPN analysts, college coaches. It is the dopest show around. And Eric, good luck on your show tonight. I will be watching.
Adios.